Hey, everybody, what are we going to do today? We're going to wrap up HITEC, see all that great technology, talk about what we saw on the show floor, all that kind of good stuff. Thanks for watching.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. I, of course, am your friendly neighborhood Glenn here to help you get through all of the issues that you're seeing here in the hospitality industry. It's great being at HITEC this week, and we're going to be talking about all the fun technologies that we saw, all the experiences that we had with a great guest. But before we do that, I wanted to remind everybody, hey, guys, you're out there, you're looking to invest in a franchise brand. Well, why not take a look at the good folks over at Radisson Hotels America? Why? Because soon enough, they're going to be part of the Choice Hotels family, giving you more power, you access to more guests, and lots of great people to help your business be even more successful. It's not too late to get into a brand such as Country Inn and Suites or Radisson Red or Blue, which I know they're going to be keeping around because they really help fill out that choice portfolio. So get in now before the companies are combined. I bet you it'll be a better opportunity for you. Talk to Phil Hugh, Chief Development Officer at RadsonHotelsAmerica.com/EN-US/development. Of course, tell them No Vacancy Live sent you. All right, so today we got ourselves a fun guest. He is the founding director of the West Virginia University HIT Lab, focused on technology, educating the next generation of hospitality students, assuming there will be any. Well, we'll find out about that. I mean, hospitality industry is exciting. It is a place that I'm thrilled to be spending my career, and I bet you Dr. Aluri is too. Hey, how are you, sir?
Hi, Glenn. Grateful, delighted and grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's great to see you. All right, so let me just tell everybody, typically we'd be doing this right now from the show floor at HITEC. But for those of you who watched our show yesterday, well, you're lying because you didn't watch our show yesterday because the internet's not so good over at the Orange County Convention Center. So we couldn't do a show yesterday. We got AJ here today, and we are coming from our respective homes, but heading over to the wrap-up of HITEC later on today. AJ, it's great to see everybody back. First, let's talk about the crowds. When I was having a chance to catch up with you yesterday, it's continuing what I saw at the Hunter Investment Conference in March. We're no longer in a period of COVID as far as the hospitality psychology is concerned. Everything has been feeling quite normal. And I saw a whole lot of what we used to see back in the day before COVID going on at HITEC. What was your impression of the overall crowds event and that kind of stuff?
I totally agree with you, Glenn. I mean, it feels like, my first HITEC was in Orlando, by the way.
Right.
This was in 2010, right? I came back to Orlando, and then to see the crowd back again after the, kind of post-pandemic trend, it's really cool. But the good thing is everybody forgot about the pandemic. Everybody acted as if it's a regular HITEC, right? Yeah, that's the beauty of, our hospitality technology industry where, we move on, and we try to solve problems. And I feel like everybody that's in here are very passionate about what they're doing, right? And then everybody's great. The networking is one of the great platforms for HITEC. And that is one thing I appreciate. You learn, you actually act and build on it, with all the things you're learning from each other. And it's the partnership and collaborations, like you said, that's making our industry exciting.
Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed was I ran into more people that I typically run into at a Hunter Hotel Investment Conference, a lodging conference, an NYU investment conference, an Alice conference. I don't want to leave them out, So it was interesting because typically the folks that I usually mingle with at HITEC are the folks that are behind the computer screens, right? So it was interesting. I don't know if you picked up on that, to see a lot more of the top level decision makers, not to say CIOs and CTOs aren't, but a lot more distribution of those people throughout the different titles in our industry. Did you see that too?
Yes. In HITEC, that's the special thing about HITEC, Glenn. What you see is, our industry is back of the office, front of the office, right? So, but you see the back of the office come in the front, talk about their challenges, talk about their problems, talk about, hey, what are the solutions out there? And then, equip the front of the office. So I feel like, that's a kind of a, HITEC for me is what's going on behind the scenes. That's making it difficult for us with the pandemic trends, with what's happening post-pandemic. And you learn that, and then you equip your front of the office. And I think what you do in the back of the office, I don't think people understand how complex it is, how many things go behind the
Right.
scenes. But I think these are the guys that are looking at all the challenges, everything that goes wrong, and equip your front desk in the front of the office.
Right. Now before we really get into it, I want to learn a little bit about what you do at West Virginia University. What's the HIT lab for all the folks watching, that kind of thing?
So long story short, Glenn, this is my part of my vision. I have a bachelor's in computer science information technology. So I'm a technology guy, right? So I have no idea about hospitality. So I went to Oklahoma State. I was in a graduate, I was doing my master's, and then I was in a class, and
Right.
one of my professors said, hey, do research in tourism, and then I ended up doing research in hospitality and tourism. And I found that hospitality industry is 3 to 5 years behind the mainstream research in terms of technology and
Wow.
innovation.
I thought it was
And
35 years behind. That's pretty impressive.
so, I mean, in the sense, like from a literature standpoint,
Yeah.
I mean, the people that are writing stuff, from the management science and, information sciences point of view. And that's where I felt like, there's a lot that needs to be done here. So I started, I was part of the, starting the hospitality program at West Virginia University. We are in the John Chambers College of Business Economics. And then, long story short, within 10 years, we started the major from a management program, and then that's an emphasis. And then we have a minor online program as well. And guess what? I started Innovation Lab. We call this Hospitality Innovation Technology Lab. And the only reason is because I know it's going to be a hit. So that's why I call this a HIT lab.
Yeah.
So that's why I call this a HIT lab.
Better have a HIT lab than a HIT job, I'll tell you,
Exactly. Yeah. But, I'm having, that's the beauty about our program, Glenn, is, we have the students that come from business core, right? They have all this business foundation, and they come to us, and we prepare students, I mean, you met one of my students, Frank. He is a double major in MIS and hospitality. Right, he did internships in luxury hotels and resorts and so on and so forth, and now he's doing his master's in business data analytics. Right, that's a kind of students we produce. That's a kind of talent we focus on. That's where we are different than other programs and labs.
That's pretty cool. And I think when you're focused on innovation and stuff like that, particularly amongst the young people, and again, I'm old, so I don't know if I'm right, but I think that probably engages them more because it's more of what they're used to as being digital natives, as opposed to a guy like me who's a digital immigrant and had to figure it all out. Right? They seem to be born imbued with the skills of technology that I was not born with, for example.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and that is really tough for educators now because we need to get them excited, and specifically in the hospitality industry. Academy in general, I think as much as hospitality is more industry-specific major. If you come to business school, every other major is a skill-based major, whereas hospitality and tourism management is like an industry-specific major. We need every major in the business school in hospitality, right? So that is the reason why when I started the HIT Lab, I wanted this to be a multidisciplinary approach where I have students from computer science, engineering, design, hospitality, MIS, marketing, so on and so forth. You bring all these talents together and you're solving the real-life problems.
Yeah, that's great. So speaking about solving realistic problems, here where we are as this show is live in Orlando at HITEC, it's the 50th, right? Of HITEC or something crazy?
Yeah.
Right.
I
thought it was, but I confused myself because Disney World is still trying to pimp their 50th anniversary, which has been over for almost a year.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I lost a little confidence there, but okay. AJ, innovation, it's right there in your name. You're at HITEC. Did you see the spirit of innovation alive and well here in Orlando, and how was it representing itself?
So to put it in perspective, Glenn, hospitality industry started embracing management science. In other words, using science in order to solve the problems, problem solving, and then, looking at decision making, right? Decision making skills. So that's very great. But for the first time, I'm seeing a lot of the hospitality companies at HITEC are also looking at data science now.
Right.
So which is really cool because now they're understanding the importance of data. They're understanding the importance of integration. They're understanding the importance of using data to create customer experiences. And you go across HITEC, and I feel like I got excited. Like, you know what? Yeah, now we're talking here after the pandemic, like importance of what hospitality should be doing. And not only that, the other thing that I saw was lot of people are talking about the emerging trends. In the
Right.
past, we always talked about like, hey, what I'm doing, what we are doing better. But they're
Mhm.
also talking about, hey, look at these emerging trends that are happening in the industry, and we are paying attention to them. We are
Right.
looking at what we can do. And I think that's something at HITEC this year. I think the pandemic taught us like to be more proactive than reactive. And I
Right.
think
Now,
as researchers, that's what
yes,
we need to be doing. We need to be doing proactive research than reactive research.
that is a very keen observation, because I feel like the hospitality industry has been mired in reaction as opposed to what you're talking about, uh, for a lot of different fundamental factors, right? It's really hard to get all the disparate stakeholders on board. If you're looking at an airline, it's much easier to push that technology forward. But in hospitality, it's extremely different. Plus, when you have competing forces, sometimes one group, like the owners, doesn't necessarily agree compared to what the brand might be saying if you're a franchise property. So there's a lot more conflict that I think, in my opinion, creates the inability to move forward in a way that, Google would like us to move forward in embracing technology, for example.
And then this is the one thing that I think our industry is getting more and more. In the past, most of the innovation happened with federal, NASA, and so on and so forth. But now the innovation is happening at the private companies more faster and reaching consumers faster than our hospitality industry.
Right.
So I think we should be really at the edge of like understanding what's happening. Again, private companies are doing better and better and better, right? The emerging trends, you can see what the pandemic has done. Technology adoption has gone up 5 to 7 times across businesses.
Mhm.
But not only that, consumers as well, are more tech savvy than pre-pandemic.
Right. All right. So I got a question on that, but I do want to say, if you guys are interested in a little bit more talk on data analytics and what we're thinking about that, check our show from the 28th of June with Jeff Bezdovka. He's the CEO of Nolan, also a Hall of Fame inductee for this year for the HITEC Hall of Fame. So he really knows his stuff. He's been on the operational side. Now he's running a tech company. So he's got a real well-rounded series of experience. Please check that out. So DJ, going back to AJ, going back to you. Sorry, I know a couple of DJs, and for some reason it's early in the morning as we're doing this. I keep making that mistake. I'm sorry. So AJ,
Glenn, I'm done. After I'm done with work, I'm a DJ too. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no wonder why I saw that billboard, AJ the DJ, with you all dressed in that really cool outfit. I don't even know how to pull that thing together, though.
Thank you, Glenn.
And by the way,
Yes.
AJ has pushed out Tiesto to be the house DJ over at Marquee at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. So go check that out this weekend. 2 shows, midnight and 3 a.m. All right, back to being serious there, AJ. So we're seeing this confluence of things happening, and post-pandemic, we've adapted to technology a little bit more. In our daily lives, we accepted it more. Now, I don't think it's a whole cloth change. I just think it's an acceleration of trends. This would have happened anyway, but it probably would have happened 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So considering now that we're a lot more focused on technology, we understand technology can be a great problem solver for a lot of the issues we're seeing in hospitality. What are some of the technologies that you saw or seeing or think should be there that are exciting you about where we are right now in the state of the hospitality industry?
I mean, we can talk more on the product side as well as the features and functionalities, Glenn. But I think the bigger challenge that we all have is the staffing. How are we going to get excited? How are we going to get the workforce excited about hospitality, right? Again, and that is where, from my experience, I can tell you, I came from industry, right, to Canada. Right. So to put it in perspective, we kind of, we act like as if you prepare the students in college and you give it to them and we take care of them. And then there's complete disconnect between academia and industry, right? So, but I think there needs to be a marriage back again, right? There needs to be a marriage between the academy and industry in the post-pandemic world, where every hospitality program should be working with the hospitality programs near to them, and get the kids excited. The ring here is the technology. What brings the marriage together is the technology. Why? Because the technology gets a lot of young crowd excited. They grew up with technology. They grew up in internet. They grew up with emerging ideas. They think they can solve any problem with Google. They can find every answer from Google, right? Yeah. So that's a kind of mentality right there. So I personally think why technology is important is because that's a marriage that kind of combines the academy and industry better, not only efficiency and effectiveness, but also getting the next generation of hospitality leaders excited about our industry.
So,
And yes,
I think the one issue, since we're talking about technology and young people, I don't think young people that are interested in technology first necessarily think about hospitality as a career. I have one son that's going to start in college next year. He's going to major in computer engineering, but I don't, even though I'm in hospitality and I live and breathe it every single day, he's probably not connected the dots that I could work in hospitality and still do everything I wanted to do in computer engineering as I would in automotive, retail, any other type of business out there as well. How do you see that issue, AJ?
So again, my background is computer science and information technology. Never heard about hospitality. I know hospitality, but never wanted to get an education or degree in hospitality.
That's funny because you like exude the hospitality spirit.
And then, it's in there, it's one of those where you find yourself like the human skills are the most important skills in this day and age. I mean, if you go social media out there, everybody's complaining about customer service, right? Everybody's talking about, hey, I don't get customer service from the best companies now, right? So some of the best companies are struggling, right, because of customer service. So that's where I think human skills are becoming more and more important. They're not soft skills. They're like actually human skills, which are very, very critical. And, in our industry, we tend to talk soft skills, but I think that's not a right term. It's a great skill set if you have a human skills in your students. And I see some of our students with human skills. You see them right away, and you're like, these kids are going to be the leaders of tomorrow, right? And to your other question, to go to a point, for me, technology is good when it works, but the important part of any hospitality is a high touch. You want to be really, really good in terms of your human foundation, your culture, and so on and so forth. And if you have a great high touch environment, you can build the high tech on top of it, right? And then now you know high touch very well, and you can do your high tech better, right? So a lot of companies that focus on just technology and from a high tech standpoint and not have a high touch framework for what they're trying to do, I think technology is not going to really, I think it's going to solve the short term problem, but not the long term problem.
So the long term problem is, in your opinion,
is actually human touch, the high touch, the human skills. That's what hospitality is all about. And the beauty of this is, if you take care of the high touch customers, Glenn, you take care of high tech customers. They are fast, efficient, effective. They're always traveling. They're like, hey, I want to go to my room and I'm done. But the beauty of that is, if you take care of your high tech customers, you have more time for your high touch customers. People who are looking for more time to talk to front desk. People who are willing to talk to, in the hotel or in the resorts. I think we'll have more time for the high touch customers.
I think that's great, because what you're saying really is you're allowing people to interact with the hospitality experience in the way that they choose, as being forced for a one size fits all type of solution. So
exactly,
have people that are more self-motivated to check in and don't need that hand holding. When you remove that whole cluster of people, it actually gives you more time to spend with those people that need that little bit more attention. Therefore, optimally speaking, you could win over both sides of guests with having to do more with less when it comes to maybe employees.
Exactly. And that is exactly how our program is designed. We focus on program goals that are human skills first. Again, we focus on human skills, leadership, operations, because we are so broad of an industry. But we also have technology and entrepreneurship as our program goals. So those are the important skill sets. I personally think we need to prepare our students towards that,
Yeah, right. That's fascinating. All right. So you've been walking around HITEC. Generally speaking, hospitality industry technology is moving in what direction? I said that's specifically vague.
So I think, again, going back to your previous question and combining this one, Glenn, I think I'm seeing a lot of AI projects and ideas, but I'm not seeing across the mainstream. It's the innovators and explorers that are really doing it. And I think it's not the mainstream hospitality companies that are doing AI. And I think AI is going to be the most important, technology, whether it's ML, whether it's deep learning, whether it's neural networking, neural data processing. All these are going to be the more critical. I want to see it. I'm seeing a lot of the major big companies, because they have the funding, they have the money to do it. They're collaborating with other companies. They're bringing the AI solutions to the table. But I feel like AI is going to be the most important trend for the next, several years for HITEC and also hospitality programs to actually invest. And I want to see more and more. Yeah.
Right. AJ, do you happen to know any any good AI programs out there for podcast hosts, so I could just have the AI do it and pretend it's me and I can take a nap?
It will happen down the lane with metaverse. I think, Glenn, we'll all be in virtual world and try to do that.
Yep.
But we did a study several years back on machine learning. We worked with a hospitality company.
Right.
We signed an NDA. I cannot reveal their name, but one of the experts in our
Sure you
MIS.
can. Sure
Yeah,
you can.
no, yeah.
Your
So,
secret's are safe here.
so one of the experts,
Yeah.
we have a machine learning expert in our MIS program. One of the faculty,
Mhm.
he wrote the algorithm for them. We looked at the historical data for 1 year, and we looked at adding new things in terms of predictive analytics in the second year. But we
Mhm.
added machine learning in the third year, and we proved that everything what they did in predictive analytics is like outdated. They can
Right.
do better with ML. So again, this is like several years back. This is like a study we did very early on. And again, more and more companies can do that. But it's all
Right.
about, do you have your historical data in a way that you can understand better, that you can actually predict clearly, but also predict
Right.
in real time. Predicting with historical data is great, but you want to be able to predict in real life and real time.
Well, I think we learned a lesson over the last couple of years that historical data is not necessarily meaningful at all when market conditions change to something that's been non-historical, right?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And I think that is where, I see in the last 5 years, everybody using predictive analytics in terms of customer experience, customer loyalty, and so on and so forth. But I think nowadays, with AI, we'll be able to do it in real time, right? So
Right.
again, when you talk to Jeff, I think Jeff talked about they're doing across the organization level, but I
Mhm.
think you need to really go back to the individual level down the line.
Right.
And I think that will happen in the next 5-10 years, where at an individual level you'll be able to use AI to actually create experiences. And again,
Yep.
for me, the main goal is, when people sign up. When people don't sign up, let them have the high touch experience. But
Right.
when they sign up to have high tech experiences, you should be able to, create that.
But I think, Doc, what you're really talking about is AI has so many different permutations. What it's really going to do is affect change for all aspects of hospitality technology, right? Because it's
Mhm.
not just customer-facing technology. It's like basically every single program will have that, right? I mean, revenue management, consumer behavior, really understanding what a customer wants at any single time, all of these different things, texting to the front desk, everything is going to be based on artificial intelligence. So how is that changing the landscape overall, besides that high touch, low touch type of customer? How is it changing the landscape at all from operational point of view, in your opinion, going forward?
We came a long way in terms of operations. I read the history how everybody were taught. We all, in the past, we all taught like cost control was the first thing we
Right.
all learned. It's all about control, right? But
Yep.
that's one function of management. But that's what everybody, in terms of numbers, in terms of data, that's what they looked at. They looked at cost control, and then yield management, then revenue management. Now we're calling strategy, revenue strategy. Now we're talking revenue management science. But I think we need to go further than that, is also revenue data science. We need to go beyond that. Why? Because a lot of houses, we have a lot of IoTs now, energy management systems. We have Alexas, we have smart cameras and everywhere. That's in most of the, it's getting more and more common, right?
Right.
And now do you expect the same IoT framework in our rooms? And, people want to do it from their mobile phones and integration and all of it. Not only because, it offers it, it's also because sustainability. It's simple. It makes things simple, smart, and sustainable, right?
Right.
You hit all these three with using the right technology at the right time, right? And again, don't miss out on the human interface. The human skills are important. The human, relationships are important on top of it. But you take care of these, making it simple, making it smart, making it sustainable.
So, AJ, you speaking when you talk about human skills, one of the slams that the younger generation gets is they don't necessarily have those particular set of skills. Are you actually seeing that? And if you are, how can technology help us compensate to connect better with people? I'm wondering. I'm also wondering if hospitality is a self-selecting group type of thing, that folks that are immune from the technological dependence just don't enter hospitality. How do you kind of see that issue?
So, I mean, I know people talk about you need to have a hospitality DNA in you, or some people use it like a juice. Do you have the
Right.
juice, or do you don't have the juice? I have a good friend who used that.
Yeah, it was a really bad Saturday Night Live skit in the 90s. Hey, you got the juice.
Right. So, but for me, I think what hospitality is, I think kids in this day and age, I think they're shy, they are quiet, they are
Right.
getting as much as can. They don't give back. I see that a lot. But there will
Mhm.
be a time where these kids will come out of their shells.
Right.
I think you don't see students, like for example, I don't see students the way they are right now. I look at them. You know what? I'm going to break their comfort zone. I'm going to bring them out of their comfort zone, and
Right.
then find their strengths and find their skills that are really where they're good at, and then they will come out of it at some point. And then again,
Right.
hospitality skills is the same thing. Unless you teach human skills, unless you practice them, you're not going to bring them out. And then I feel like a lot of, frankly speaking, from my experience, Glenn,
Mhm.
in the last 5 years, I can see our students are doing better in terms of our presentations,
Right.
better in terms of meeting, talking to our C-level, V-level people, which we bring to our classes,
Right.
our advisory council, even my our advisory council were like, wow, within the 5 years, we see a lot of growth in your students. They are
Right.
able to communicate better. They're able to write better. They're able to, do a sales pitch better now. So what's happening is you need to nurture those skills and bring them out of the comfort zone. And
Right.
technology, yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, and I've interacted with a lot with college students because I've been fortunate enough to be asked to be on judging panels for all these types of things, and they're really good with great PowerPoints and stuff like that. I don't remember that from other generations. They're much more focused on creating something that looks great in as long as it's based in technology.
Exactly. And I think they're also they're getting to a point like they want to have fun, they want to have flexibility, they want to actually
Yep.
have those functionalities around them that they can use. They want you to empower them. And I think they can get a lot and lot. That is what my experience with my students are. They're all very successful. We have 100%
Right.
placement in our programs. They're all working for some of the top firms. But not only that, they're growing at a faster pace, and which surprises me. They're like going
Right.
to become managers and leaders very quickly, and that is exciting about our industry, right?
Right. Now, in 2019, when it came to the franchising universe, I declared the word of the year to be swim lanes, having defined swim lanes, right? But the word I heard in technology all the time in 2019 that I'm not hearing anymore was gamification,
Mhm.
right? What
Yes.
is the state of that? I think that's the whole notion of engaging the people that are using a technology in a way that gives them some, rushes of chemicals from their brain and stuff like that to keep them focused. But how are you seeing gamification right now? Is that a fad? Is it an actual trend? And how's that leading us to the future, if at all?
It's actually a trend among young people. We're not seeing it more and more because we don't as young we like to do more of the high touch, but I
Yeah.
think it's going to be an emerging trend down the lane where
Mhm.
we are working on augmented reality research. Glenn, I'm one of the first ones who started Google Glass research,
Right.
when it came out in 2013. I've
Mhm.
done several devices over the years, and I can tell you we are working on a training module for a hospitality management company to put all their training in augmented reality application. So
That's
in
pretty
other
cool.
words, you can interact with the virtual world while talking to people in the real world. So that's a game changer.
Right.
And this
I
and
saw
people and
honestly, I saw that exact technology in the Terminator. It did not work out too well. Terrible.
that's true. Yeah. But you are not equipping, you're basically empowering your, employees in terms of training. How many times in our industry we tell them use case studies, use scenarios basis, take a laptop, use the
Right.
modules and all of that. That's not exciting young people anymore. If you
Right.
want to get your entry level employees excited about working in front desk, working in housekeeping, working in sales and marketing and so
Right.
on and so forth, you want to have them use a not only shadowing is great. You can shadow a manager, but have
Mhm.
an AR device for the first 1 week while they're learning about all the systems. They're learning about the culture. They're learning about the brand. They're learning about the management company itself. And at the same time, they're also shadowing people around them because we have a problem with staffing. We have a problem with turnover rate. People
Mhm.
come and go, and our training changes because of the changes in our management, right? So that's one reason where you want to have a standard culture, brand, and then your training modules that would set a standards for who you are and what you are. And
Mhm.
that excites a lot of young kids now because
Yeah.
now they're like, hey, I'm in a company where I can work with the virtual world and real world. And guess what? My training, and by the way, when you are in augmented reality, Glenn, Again, it's a very early stage. I think we'll get better and better in terms of applications. It gives you an immersive experiences that you will remember for a long time.
Right.
Versus reading off the laptop, reading off the shadowing, how many times you will remember things. But you
Right.
see these holograms around you, your brain actually is looking at the relationships between your different PMS system, POS systems, your terminologies, your brand cultures and all. It
Right.
goes into your brain more clear because they see these visual holograms that they always remember.
It sure does. Now, again, I'm not an educator, but I've seen studies and I don't know the same number. I don't know the actual numbers, but I understand that if a teacher is lecturing in front of the classroom, students retain often a lot less information and points than if they watched a video on it, for example. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I think we need to rethink the way how we educate everybody. Instead of saying, hey, we've been doing this because we've been doing this, we need to, I think, in the spirit of nothing is sacrosanct in hospitality, it should be the same thing in education. We should really figure out how to best connect with each individual student and learn how they learn best. And I think what you're talking about definitely scientifically has been proven that you remember more.
Yeah, exactly. And part of it, I was at a workshop this summer, and then for the first time, there was an expert in gamification I was talking to, and I just realized like there's a lot we can do with gamification in training.
Right.
There's a lot we can do with gamification in team building. There's a lot we can do with creative skills when you offer gaming.
Right.
Doing things with your hands and with creative ideas and time it and then have them come up with cool ideas. And I feel like the more you add gamification in your training, your team building, the more they come out of with creative ideas for your companies. So I feel like that is the way to go in our in our academia, in the sense like, yeah, we need that theoretical foundation, which you have to do in ways that you want to present, but at the same time add a gamification or a kind of a fun element to it that makes them think. That's a beauty of that's what I love about being in a classroom. You got a students in front of you that are willing to create everything what you can offer. And in my class, we do a bunch of different things. We do online stuff. We do like surveys. We do polls. We do games. We do, so I don't do a one class basically teaching the entire class. We stop and we do all the fun stuff.
Right. So what type of technology do you see on the HITEC show floor yesterday, for example, that's exciting you about the future of our industry?
I think we're going back to every small problems and coming up with solutions, right? Whether it's using mobile phones for every small thing, in terms of tipping, in terms of actually offering everything from a menu and then transactions and so on and so forth. Sometimes you don't need like an app. You can do a web version of these where it's easy for them
tip software
to do it.
Just, is all web version stuff.
Exactly. And everything from menus too. Menus are getting web version. So nobody needs to download apps if they are at a short term. If they really want loyalty, they can download the apps. We're getting to a point, it's like we're solving some of the simple things out of the pandemic. But I think they all come back to the entire dashboard at some point. And the dashboard offers everything. And now all this integration will give you an opportunity to create experiences across the customer journey and every touch point. And I think we're talking touch points at a level when they check in and check out. But I think I want to see those touch points across the journey of a customer.
So speaking about all of that, I think what we're seeing this year at HITEC in particular, and I think in greater industry in the United States, is a lot more consolidation. And it's amazing all these different tech companies coming together. Like a lot of venture firms are, creating an umbrella of all of these different particular types of products. And then the other strategy that we've been seeing, I've been talking about this as well, is management companies and ownership groups creating their own suite of products, right? How do you see about all of these suites of products coming together in those different forms? Is that where we're headed in the future, or is that just a affectation of the current market conditions?
So, I mean, I believe in hospitality is all about, getting plugged, getting unplugged. Right? If you want to get plugged, you should have the technology and all the ways to do it. If you want to get unplugged, you should be able to offer to that customer, So in the same way, our industry should be working in a way all these technologies work for customer, but, give them that opportunity to unplug versus plug, So when they want to plug, they select these experiences across the touch points and they say, hey, I want this, I want that. And the reason why they want to share data is they want that loyalty rewards. They believe in the company. They believe in that real-time information. For example, I fly all the time I fly domestic airline. I give all my info because they tell me if the gate changes. They tell me if there is a delay. They give me an option, hey, we are closing our boarding. And again,
Right.
I want to give that information because I want that information from them as well. So it's
That's right.
win-win.
The way things are going right now, it's nice to find out that your flight's going to be canceled before you hit the airport.
Exactly. So that is the beauty of where you can sign up these customer, touch points
Right.
across customer journey, Glenn. And
Yep.
hospitality industry right now, you talk about all these, putting all this integration together. But end of the day, it goes back to that. If a customer signs up something, give it to them and be the best in that.
Yep. Cool. All right. Before we wrap up, is there anything out there that you've seen over the last couple of days that you're most excited about, that you think has the most potential in the future?
AI, for sure, it has the
Yep.
most potential. There's no question about it. We have a long way to go. Like I said, I'm talking an umbrella term of AI. There's a lot of ways you can integrate that. It's not only text, speech,
Mhm.
voice, ML, data processing, several things you can do with it. The only other bigger one that I'm seeing a lot of people are talking about, the new trends such as digital commerce, metaverse, and so on and so forth. I think we have at least 10 more years to go, to
Yeah,
really
I'd
get
say
there.
at least. And the reason why I think it's so long is because everybody's talking about it. I find that when you stop talking about a technology, then it's
Mhm.
there, just part of
Yeah.
our lives, right? But this VR stuff is a long way to go, because I don't know about how younger people are, but from what I've seen with older people, a lot of us get nauseous, it seems like.
Yeah.
Alternate
Yeah,
universe.
you are absolutely right. That's why I talk about AR more than VR, because it's a long
Yep.
way to go. It's hard
Right.
to code. I'll talk about the coding side of it. It's really hard to code. That's why if you go to some of the big companies here in Orlando, they'll give you only 8-minute VR experience. 8 minutes, that's it. But you wait for a long time to get there. But anyways,
Right.
so
Hey, well, that's
what-
better than waiting 2, 3, 4 hours to go on the 2.5-minute Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot that just opened.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. But I think we will get there. I think Gartner research clearly talks about these are all high impact research, high impact technologies. They have a huge impact on our daily lives. How they will transform the way we use technology. That's true. But I think they're also 10 years down the lane. There's a
Right.
growing stage, so emerging
Right.
level. So with all the new opportunities that are there for our industry, they're all positive and exciting. But I think we need to keep doing our research. Need to keep exploring these ideas, because, like I said, we will get to innovators and explorers using them very soon. According to research from Gartner, 25% of the US consumers will be using at least 1 hour of metaverse by 2026.
Right.
So by 2026, you're seeing 25% of them using it. So obviously, it will take at least another 10 years for mainstream to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure of that. And the funny thing about technology is whatever you think, add a couple of years.
In our hospitality industry, for us to implement it,
add a couple of decades. Yeah, I get it.
No, it might happen soon, because I think we have frameworks and platforms that are out there. It's all about collaboration and partnership. And in this day and age, I see you don't need to be an expert in it, but if you have an opportunity, like for example, HitLab is a platform for AR. If you really want to build a training opportunity module for your company, we will make that happen. We'll build the proof of concept. We'll make that happen. But as technology is growing, now you can integrate that for your own company, right? So, but I'm also in my research and in my projects, Glenn, I'm also 5-10 years ahead of the game. Like I said, I do more proactive research than reactive research, and I think that's the way to do it, because you don't want to go there and say, "Oh my goodness, how come we missed the boat?" On this,
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It makes a lot of sense. AJ, how can we learn more about your program at WVU?
So we have a website, John Chambers College of Business Economics, and /HitLab. Chambers, www.chambers.edu/HitLab is our website. But not only the John Chambers, what is exciting is we're moving to a new Reynolds Hall, a new business school building this summer in July. And the entire building plan is designed for student engagement, not for faculty, not for administration, not for anybody. It's all about student engagement. And then we have a great platform for employers to come in. So that is exactly what I'm excited about. You come. When you come to Morgantown or Pittsburgh, let me know, Glenn. I want to have you in the Reynolds Hall, and
Awesome.
the HitLab is going to be there. The HitLab is going to be in the new building, so that is exciting for me. We have opportunities to flip the class. We have opportunities to empower our students. We have opportunities to use data in real life, in real time, and all the companies here at HITEC are willing to give their data sets, give their information to the lab. So that's what excites me, because I'm using all real life information data in my HitLab. and do
Right.
projects that are more proactive, but also, connecting the solutions in real time for these industries folks here at HITEC.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you for being here, AJ. Really appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you for having me.
I'll see you on the show floor later.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
See you then.
Be good. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Now, remember, if you want to listen to us, check out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. But since so many of you already are listening to us, why not give us a view? Check us out on our respective LinkedIn pages, Facebook pages, our YouTube channel. Of course, your home base for everything, novacancynews.com. All right, everybody, remember, you've got one life, so blaze on, and I'll see you all back here as soon as we can. Take care. Have a great day.